Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to 90 Day Fiancé latest news. They were never supposed to meet. As Sojaboy, Usman Umar is Nigeria's emerging Afrobeat sensation. He had already tasted the honey of fame and the bitterness of love that went public. His name used to be linked to flaming romances, TV dramas, and sad songs. Millions of people watched everything he did, not because of who he was, but because of how he looked. On the other hand, Cortney Reardanz had long since left the world of reality TV. After her tumultuous prior relationships were put under a media scrutiny, she disappeared into a tranquil existence that was cleaner, calmer, and safer. She had promised herself that she would never work with cameras, producers, or the kind of love that needed to be explained instead of felt. But then Lagos showed up. Cortney was supposed to be on a business trip. She got a private invitation to a tech conference that just so happened to be at the same time as a charity event where Usman was performing. Neither of them had planned to meet, and neither of them wanted to meet. But fate doesn't care about jobs or schedules. Cortney and Usman's eyes met across a sea of strangers in a quiet area of a Lagos rooftop lounge that night. He was in the middle of a joke with producers and stylists when he saw her holding a drink she didn't like and looking around the crowd for someone who hadn't shown up yet. For only a second, she was the first to turn away. He didn't go after her. But when she got into the hotel elevator later, he was already there, silent, unreadable, but definitely there. The first things they said were awkward, courteous, and easy to forget. Their second conversation, which took place an hour later in the shadowy hotel lobby, was not. It was the first time in days that she laughed. He finally listened after months. No filtering, no lighting on the stage. Two people who don't know each other are just losing track of time. What came next was not a whirlwind romance. It was slower, gentler, and more suspicious. Two people tried not to fall when the earth underneath them gave way. But if you're famous, secrets don't stay secrets. 5 days later, the picture got out. It was blurry, which could have been on purpose. Not sure. His hand was resting on her lower back. A moment frozen in amber. Genuine, close, and reckless. It wasn't sensational, but it was very bad for the person who said it. Fans yelled betrayal. Bloggers spoke about possible reasons. Was she trying to get attention? Was he bouncing back? But neither Cortney nor Usman answered. Not with words. Not with explanations. They didn't come back. What the public didn't know was that the picture wasn't the start of the story. It was the middle of a peaceful love story that was already growing in the dark. The couple left the mayhem of Lagos and went to a luxury house outside of Abuja in the days that followed. They stopped acting like it was nothing there, in the shade of mango trees, and as the sun set slowly. Cortney had always been wary of men like him. Charming, skilled, and followed by a lot of followers. But Usman was different when the cameras weren't on. He made her dinner, but it wasn't very good. In the early morning, he wandered barefoot around the garden to pick fresh fruit. He called his mom on speakerphone so Cortney could hear how faint his voice was. He didn't strive to get her to like him. He simply told her who he was. Cortney, on the other hand, showed him how weak she was. She talked of prior heartbreaks, the ache of being misunderstood, and the loneliness that stayed with her even when she was in a room full of people. Late at night, after reading harsh comments, she cried once while snuggled up next to him. "I'm not ready for this again," she said softly. Usman had only hugged her tighter and pressed his forehead against hers. "You're not alone in this." But love, especially love that comes from two very different backgrounds, isn't simple to find. People had told Usman's family about the rumors. When he got back to Kano, they looked at him with old eyes and asked him customary questions. Who was she? Was she a Muslim? Would she come here? Would she comprehend how important his culture, language, and mother's expectations were? Usman didn't respond with anger or disobedience. He just wanted some time. Time to figure out what was happening between them. Let her in now. Cortney had to deal with a different storm when she got back to Miami. Her phone rang all the time. Old friends, journalists, and former producers all offered her a platform, a payment, and a way to make money off the mayhem. She told them all no. Her world got quiet again, but this time it ached. She wanted him back. He missed his midnight voice notes, his silly emoticons, and the way he pronounced her name like a prayer. She began to learn Hausa in secret. She set her phone's time zone to his, so she wouldn't miss any calls. And then, one day in the afternoon, a parcel came. There was a memory stick and a letter written by hand inside. The song wasn't finished, it was rough. Only voice and guitar. But every word was about her. Not by name, but by soul. He sang, "You're the silence in my storm. You're the verse I didn't write but felt." Cortney cried while the music played over and over. The letter was not long. One line written in bad English. "If you come back, I'll stop hiding." She bought a ticket to Nigeria 3 days later. There wasn't much drama at the reunion. There weren't any camera crews or red carpets. There were only 2 people outside an airport terminal, and they were both shaking and trying not to cry. She wore a simple dress and a scarf. He bought roses from a street vendor. They hugged each other like they were alive. But even this sweet love couldn't stay out of the public glare for long. The second leak was very bad. A short film of Cortney and Usman at a coastal villa that was plainly recorded without their permission. They were dancing without shoes on, laughing, and soaking up the sun. He dipped her. She screamed. They kissed each other. Not for the world. Not for show. Just because they couldn't stop it. The internet went crazy. Fans are split. Old flames came back with stories. Producers made offers. But this time Usman didn't back down. He put the whole video up himself. No title. No defense. That's all there is to it. And what about Cortney? She did the same thing, posting a picture of the moment with her palm on his chest and their eyes locked in laughing. The caption she wrote was simple. Not everything needs to be explained. Their love became known to the world, yet it stayed holy. They didn't talk to the tabloids. They didn't agree on anything. Instead, they spent months discreetly traveling back and forth between Nigeria and Florida, getting to know each other's habits, languages, and customs. Cortney met Usman's mom in Kano. She wore a headscarf, brought gifts she created herself, and spent hours learning how to cook. It was awkward, sluggish, and very beautiful. His mother didn't smile very often. But one night, while Cortney nervously poured tea, the older woman took her hand and squeezed it softly. Usman then murmured, "That's how she says yes." But it wasn't all acceptance and flowers. There were cultural tensions. Problems with visas put plans on hold. People become jealous and suspicious because of rumors. Cortney had a hard time being so far away from her family. Usman was scared that he would lose his musical edge and his sense of self. They clashed sometimes, having lengthy, agonizing conversations about their future and whether love was enough. But they constantly came back to each other. Usman stood in front of Cortney on a rooftop in Miami late at night, with tears in his eyes. He said, "I can't promise the world won't hurt us, but I promise to get better with you." She didn't say anything. She just pulled him close and put her head on his shoulder. And her phone buzzed again in the distance. Another leak. Another story. A different storm. But this time they didn't run away. They stayed. Together. And in doing so, they changed what love could look like in a world that thrives on disorder. They were no longer just famous people on TV. They were no longer targets for tabloids or Instagram. They were a tale. Not a storybook. Not a scandal. A tale. One is still being written one moment at a time. And if you scroll down through the noise, past the headlines, the gossip, and the leaks, you might find the truth hidden between 2 grins in a picture taken by a stranger. A hand on a back. Not a showy kiss. And 2 hearts, finally home. This gossip is over. If you liked the video, then give your opinion in the comment box and stay with us by subscribing the channel. Thank you.